I'm meteorologist Jonathan O with a look at what's happening with a couple of tropical systems that are right now getting ready to really make a serious impact on some folks that are living near in the path of the storm. Let's start off with Mangkhut, located in the western Pacific. This storm is quite intense, a violent typhoon that has really had a lot of energy and a lot of power with it. And we're talking about a landfall sometime during the early hours on Saturday. Notice the well-defined eye, already seeing the outer bands of the system impacting a good half of the Philippines. And as this continues to move toward the north and west, it will continue to bring those very powerful winds. And storm surge, also a big part of the concern with heavy rainfall. Some locations could get 400 to 500 millimeters of rain in just about a 36-hour period. So that can lead to some serious flooding. Now, the eye is expected to move more toward the northern edge of Luzon before it moves toward the southern areas of Hong Kong by the time we go into Sunday. But this is still going to produce a lot of rain, and again, the coastal areas are going to be of great concern. So you want to make sure that you're listening to officials. I mean, we've been talking about this for the past few days, so at this point you just need to listen to the local officials as they tell you if you need to evacuate at this point. So that's one storm we're keeping an eye on. The other one is this one over in the Atlantic, Hurricane Florence. This is a powerful storm, and I want to emphasize at this point, and I want to say it again, just because it is a Category 2 doesn't mean that this storm is not going to be destructive. And I'm emphasizing this because there have been folks out there who have been saying, oh, well, you know, the meteorologists were wrong, they were overhyping the whole situation. Folks, the categorization is only based off of the winds. It doesn't take into account the fact that it has a tremendous amount of rain with it. It doesn't take into account the storm surge that's coming with this. And I've already been getting reports out of the New Bern area in North Carolina, flooding taking place, TV stations, WCTI, having to stop broadcasting and evacuate almost everybody out of there because of the fact that we've had this incredible amount of water that's rolling in. And this is even before landfall. We still have several hours to go before we actually expect the eye of the storm to make landfall. We're even seeing a little bit of intensification that is happening as it gets closer to the coastline. So this is just the beginning. We still have a few days to go before we see the impacts continuing down, not only for North Carolina, but also down to South Carolina as well. So folks, I hope that you have been listening to the warnings and the evacuation orders from the officials. And at this point, that's what you're going to have to pay attention to as we go forward in time, because the time to prepare is pretty much over. There's not much else you can do other than at this point to brace for the storm and follow what folks are telling you. So the storm is going to make landfall likely sometime during the day on Friday. And then as it continues to move on shore, it's expected to then take a more southerly track, moving down near the Grand Strand and then moving its way through the Midlands of South Carolina. And at that point, the winds are expected to weaken to a tropical storm level, but we're expecting a lot more in terms of winds, in terms of rain rather. It's going to be a prolonged period of rainfall. Some places may be getting a lot more rainfall than you would really want to see, especially for those in Colombia, remembering what happened back in 2015 with the prolonged rain event. This storm packs a lot more rainfall in a much shorter period of time. So you want to also be aware of that as we go forward through the next 48 hours or so with the storm, at least the initial 48 hours, but then extending in through the weekend to the first part of next week as the storm wiggles through and then moves out toward the north. So again, the Philippines, serious typhoon situation with this storm rolling through with the rain, the storm surge, and also the winds. And then we have Hurricane Florence making its impact in the Carolinas. Keep these folks in your prayers as we continue forward throughout the next several days because these storms are going to really be making their impact known as we go throughout the weekend. That's what's happening right now with this weather update. I'm Jonathan O reporting to you from Tokyo.